Welcome to our channel Wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever shared something personal, only to regret it later? Maybe you trusted someone with your secrets, your dreams, or your struggles, only to have it thrown back at you. It's a painful lesson, but one that the Stoics understood well. The truth is, not everything in life should be shared. Some things are better kept to yourself, not because you're hiding something, but because wisdom demands it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, believed that power comes from restraint. The less you reveal, the more control you have over your life. In this video, we'll go deep into 8 things you should never share with anyone. These are things that can weaken your position, invite betrayal, or even bring unnecessary problems into your life. And trust me, number 6 is something most people share without realizing the damage it causes. So sit back, stay with me until the end, and let's explore the Stoic wisdom that will help you protect your peace, guard your power, and live with quiet strength. Thing 1. Your deepest fear. There's something you should never, ever share with anyone. Your deepest fears. Imagine this. You're sitting with a close friend, someone you trust. You open up about something that terrifies you. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's the fear of being alone. Maybe it's something from your past that still haunts you. In that moment, it feels good to share. Feels like a weight lifted off your chest. But here's the harsh truth: people are unpredictable. One day, that same person could use your fear against you. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But someday, when emotions get heated or when they need leverage, they might bring it up. And just like that, your deepest insecurity becomes someone else's weapon. The Stoics had a different approach. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that fear is nothing more than a story we tell ourselves. It's not real. It exists only in our minds. And the more we talk about it, the more power we give it. The more we share it, the more control we hand over to others. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how strong, disciplined people rarely talk about their fears? That's because they understand something most people don't. Fear should be faced, not fed. The moment you voice it, it grows. The moment you let it out, it lingers in the minds of others. Now, this doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions or ignore your struggles. No, that's not the Stoic way. But instead of giving voice to your fears, work on conquering them. Face them in silence. Strengthen your mind against them. If you're afraid of failure, take action despite that fear. If you're afraid of rejection, build your confidence through discipline. If you fear loneliness, learn to enjoy your own company. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a devoted Stoic, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That means your fear only has control if you let it. And when you keep it to yourself, when you refuse to give it power through words, you become stronger than it. Now, here's something to think about. In life, people will judge you no matter what. They will form opinions, sometimes without even knowing the full story. But when you keep your fears to yourself, you remain in control. You don't give them an easy target. You don't let them define you. So the next time you feel the urge to share your deepest fears with someone, pause. Ask yourself, what do I gain by saying this? What do I risk? Because in the end, the less they know about your weaknesses, the stronger you become. And that is exactly why you should never share your fears with anyone. Keep them locked inside. Face them in silence. Conquer them alone. That's the Stoic way. Thing 2. Your long-term goals. Have you ever told someone about a big goal you were excited about, only to feel unmotivated afterward? It's strange, isn't it? You share your ambition expecting support, but instead, something inside you changes. The drive fades. There's a reason for that. When you announce your goals to the world, your brain tricks you into feeling like you've already accomplished something. You get a quick dopamine hit. Feels good. But that feeling makes you less likely to actually do the work. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, had a simple rule: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, don't talk about what you're going to do. Just do it. Think about the most successful people. Do they go around telling everyone their plans? No, they stay quiet. They move in silence. And then one day the world sees the results. But there's another reason to keep your goals private. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people will smile to your face but secretly hope you fail. Others will plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They'll say things like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or, "That sounds risky." And just like that, your confidence takes a hit. Stoicism teaches us that the opinions of others should not dictate our actions. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, let people think whatever they want. Stay focused on your path. Here's what you should do instead: work in silence. Build in private. Let your results speak for themselves. Look at some of the greatest minds in history. They didn't waste time announcing their every move. They took action. Elon Musk didn't go around telling everyone he would build electric cars and send rockets into space before he did it. He just worked. And now people talk about him. Jeff Bezos didn't tell the world he would create Amazon before it happened. He kept building quietly. And you must do the same. If you have a goal, whether it's starting a business, getting in shape, learning a new skill, don't announce it. Don't post about it on social media. Don't seek validation from others. Just get to work. When you succeed, people will notice. When you win, they'll ask how you did it. And when they ask, just smile. Because by then, you won't need to say a word. Keep your long-term goals private. Focus on the process, not the applause. The results will speak louder than any words ever could. Now, let's move on to the next thing you should never share with anyone. Thing 3. Your acts of kindness. You've probably met someone who constantly tells everyone about their good deeds. They donate to charity, help a friend, or volunteer, but they always make sure everyone knows about it. At first, it might seem harmless. After all, who doesn't want to feel appreciated for their kindness? But here's the thing. When you constantly share your acts of kindness with others, it can quickly lose its value. Think about it. If you're always talking about the good you're doing, it's no longer about the action itself. It becomes about how others see you. And when kindness is tied to seeking recognition, it doesn't feel as pure anymore. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, believed that we should perform our actions with integrity, without seeking the applause of others. In his famous meditations, he wrote about the importance of doing what is right because it's the right thing to do, not because of what you'll get out of it. Let's consider an example. Imagine you help a friend move into a new house. You carry boxes, you do all the heavy lifting, and you make sure everything is set up. Now, what's the right thing to do in this situation? If you truly want to live according to Stoic principles, you wouldn't mention it to others. You wouldn't post about it on social media, or even tell your other friends about how much you helped. You simply did it because you could and because you wanted to. That's the essence of true kindness. Doing things without expecting anything in return. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, took this even further. He argued that when we do something good, we shouldn't expect recognition or gratitude. In fact, he said, if you expect something back, you're not truly giving. You're bartering. And when you make kindness a transaction, you rob it of its authenticity. Think about the impact of kindness when it's kept quiet. If you help someone without them knowing it came from you, that act is now something they can cherish on their own terms. There's no external pressure or expectation tied to it. They're free to feel grateful without worrying about how you might feel or what you might want in return. And here's the kicker. When you stop sharing your acts of kindness, you're actually becoming more self-sufficient in your happiness. You're no longer relying on the validation of others to feel good about yourself. That, in itself, is incredibly powerful. So next time you do something kind, think twice before sharing it. Ask yourself, is this act truly about helping others? Or is it about boosting my own ego? True Stoic kindness comes from a place of humility, not self-promotion. The Stoics taught us that the highest form of virtue is acting without the need for recognition. And when you practice this, you'll notice a shift in your own sense of inner peace. Thing 4. Your past mistakes. Have you ever made a mistake that still haunts you? Maybe something you regret deeply, something you wish you could take back. It's natural to carry the weight of past errors, but the Stoics taught us something crucial. Your past doesn't define you, and it's never something to freely share with others. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this: you're at a gathering, and you're talking to someone you trust. You decide to open up about a mistake from your past, something that makes you feel guilty or embarrassed. Maybe it was a business failure, a relationship that ended badly, or a personal decision you wish you could redo. At first, it feels like a relief to let it out. Feels good to share, right? But here's the catch. Once you've shared it, it's out there. People now have this piece of your past, and while you may have moved on, they might still hold on to it. You've given them a part of you that can now be used against you or even be misunderstood. In some cases, they may even judge you based on that past mistake, even though it no longer defines who you are today. This is exactly what the Stoics warned against. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, believed that your mistakes belong to you alone. They are part of your learning process, but they don't need to be part of anyone else's narrative. Sharing them too freely means giving away your power, your peace of mind, and even your respect. The Stoics would say, let your actions, not your words, reveal your true character. Let's take an example. Imagine you've been through a painful divorce. It's one of the hardest things to go through, and maybe it left you feeling like a failure. You might feel tempted to share this with everyone, to explain yourself, to justify your actions, to get sympathy. But what does that really accomplish? It only keeps that mistake alive in the minds of others. It doesn't allow you to grow from it because you're too busy explaining it to everyone else. What you might not realize is that by talking about your past mistakes constantly, you keep reliving them. It's like pressing a replay button on the pain and regret. Instead, the Stoic approach is simple. Learn from it, move on, and protect your peace. Don't dwell on things that cannot be changed. You'll find that when you stop sharing the past so openly, you start feeling lighter, more in control, and more empowered. But here's the most important part. Your past mistakes do not define who you are today. The Stoics believed in the power of the present moment, the idea that what matters most is what you do now, not what you did years ago. If you've learned from your mistakes, then they've served their purpose. There's no need to carry them around like baggage anymore. So, remember this. Your past is yours to learn from, but it's not something to freely share with others. Protect your peace by keeping that chapter closed, and instead, focus on the person you are today and the actions you take from here on out. The past can't be changed, but your future can be shaped by what you choose to do now. Thing 5. Your family problems. When it comes to family, things can get complicated. No matter how close we are to our relatives, disagreements and misunderstandings can happen. But here's the Stoic truth. Your family problems should never be shared with anyone outside of your family circle. Why? Because once you let someone else into the private struggles of your family life, it's no longer just a family issue. It becomes something else entirely. Imagine this: you've just had an argument with a sibling or a parent. You're upset, and in the heat of the moment, you tell your friends everything. You vent about how frustrating your family is, about how they never listen, or how they're always criticizing you. Feels good to let it all out, right? But here's the problem. The next time you see your friend, they're going to see your family differently. They might even start judging them based on what you said. Your family members will no longer be seen as who they are, but as the people who hurt you, according to the story you've shared. The Stoics, especially people like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught us about protecting our peace. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same can be said about your family life. Peace comes from protecting it from external judgment. When you share family problems, you're allowing others to interfere in what should be a private matter. What happens in your home stays in your home. Think about it. When you tell someone about a family problem, they may offer advice, but they don't know the full picture. They don't know your family dynamics. They don't understand the long history that shapes the relationships you have with your family members. So, their advice or opinion often comes from a place of ignorance. It's easy for someone on the outside to suggest, "Oh, just cut them off," or "Why don't you tell them how you feel?" But they don't live your life. They don't know the complexities of your family interactions. By sharing these personal problems, you risk turning a small issue into something bigger than it needs to be. Moreover, Seneca wisely reminded us that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This applies to family problems as well. When emotions are high, it's tempting to share your frustrations with others. But in doing so, you can make rash decisions based on anger, hurt, or frustration. Stoicism teaches us to respond, not react. By keeping your family struggles to yourself, you allow time for calm reflection and a more reasoned approach. If you really want to resolve issues within your family, talk to your family members directly. Open, honest conversations are key to healing misunderstandings. But airing your family's dirty laundry outside of the family circle can create unnecessary drama. It breaks the sacred trust between family members and turns private moments into public ones. By keeping your family problems private, you maintain respect for your loved ones and keep your family relationships intact. You preserve the bond that exists between you and your relatives and create space for growth, understanding, and forgiveness without the interference of outsiders. So, remember this Stoic principle: protect what is private. Family issues should remain within the family. It's not about hiding or ignoring problems. It's about keeping the sanctity of your family life intact, giving it the privacy and care it deserves. Thing 6. Your financial status. Money. It's one of the biggest sources of stress, envy, and even betrayal. Yet, most people have no problem talking about their financial situation. Some love to brag about their wealth, their new car, their six-figure salary. Others constantly complain about being broke, struggling to make ends meet. But here's the truth. Your financial status is nobody's business but yours. Let's talk about why. Imagine this. You just got a big promotion. Your salary doubled and you finally feel like you've made it. Excited, you share the news with a few friends. First, they congratulate you. But slowly, things change. Some start acting distant. Others make passive-aggressive comments. You're rich now, you can pay for dinner. You probably don't understand struggle anymore. What happened? Simple. The moment people know how much money you have, they start treating you differently. Even people you thought were close. Envy creeps in. Expectations rise. Some will resent you. Others will try to take advantage. And if you're struggling financially, that's even worse. The more you talk about your money problems, the more people will judge you. Some will see you as weak. Some will pretend to care, but deep down they're just relieved it's not them. And a few, they'll use your struggles against you. That's why the Stoics believed in keeping your wealth, whether big or small, private. Marcus Aurelius, one of the richest men of his time, never flaunted his wealth. He understood that money was just a tool, not a measure of character. He lived simply, dressed modestly, and focused on what truly mattered: his mindset, discipline, and actions. So what can we learn from this? First, never brag about your wealth. It makes you a target. The richer you appear, the more people will want something from you. Some will ask for favors. Others will expect handouts. And a few, they'll just want to see you fail. Second, never complain about money. If you're struggling, work on a solution. Complaining won't help. And broadcasting your financial problems only invites pity, or worse, judgment. And third, be mindful of who you trust. If you ever need financial advice, seek it from professionals, not random friends or family members who might not have your best interests at heart. At the end of the day, your financial status, whether you're rich, comfortable, or struggling, is your personal business. Keeping it private isn't about being secretive. It's about being smart. Because in life, the less people know about your money, the more control you have over it. Thing 7. Your personal relationship issues. Relationships are complicated. Every couple, every friendship, and every family bond goes through ups and downs. But here's the hard truth. Your personal relationship issues should never be public discussion. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen someone constantly complain about their partner? Maybe they always talk about how annoying their spouse is, how they argue all the time, or even worse, how they don't trust them anymore. Now, what happens when that couple works things out? They forgive each other, but the damage is already done. Everyone around them still remembers the bad things that were said. And worse, people start judging their relationship based on those complaints. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This applies to relationships too. If you want a strong relationship, don't waste time talking about problems to the wrong people. Work on fixing them instead. When you share your relationship issues with friends, coworkers, or even strangers online, you're inviting opinions. And trust me, most people won't give you good advice. They'll either judge, gossip, or secretly enjoy watching things fall apart. Think about this. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk the most about their relationships are usually the ones who struggle the most? That's not a coincidence. When you constantly share your problems, you weaken your bond. Instead of handling issues privately, you bring outsiders into something that should be personal. And let's not forget one more thing. Some people will use your words against you. Let's say you tell a friend that your partner has been distant lately. A month later, that same friend might start spreading rumors that you're headed for a breakup. Or worse, they might try to insert themselves into your personal life in ways you never expected. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, believed that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Well, in relationships, trust is what happens when privacy meets respect. If you want a relationship that lasts, keep the details between you and the person involved. So here's the Stoic approach. If you're upset with someone, talk to them, not about them. If you need advice, seek it from someone wise, not someone who just wants drama. And most importantly, if you truly value your relationship, protect it from the outside world. Because at the end of the day, real love, real friendships, and real connections are built behind closed doors, not on display for the world to judge. If you agree with this, hit the like button and let me know in the comments. Do you think people overshare about their relationships today? Let's talk about it. And if you're serious about mastering your emotions and becoming a stronger person, make sure to subscribe. There's more wisdom coming your way. Thing 8. Your next move. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people don't talk about what they're planning? They just do it. Think about it. The biggest moves in life happen in silence. The strongest people don't announce their next step. They let their results speak for themselves. But most people, they do the opposite. They share every detail of their next big plan. They tell their friends, family, coworkers, sometimes even strangers. And what happens? One of three things. First, people start doubting you. They say things like, "Are you sure that's a good idea? What if it doesn't work? I heard someone tried that and failed." Now, even if you were confident before, doubt creeps in. You start second-guessing yourself. You hesitate, and hesitation is the enemy of success. Second, someone might steal your idea. It happens all the time. You share a brilliant business concept, and before you know it, someone else is running with it. You tell a coworker about a great strategy, and suddenly, they're using it to get ahead. The truth is, not everyone wants to see you win. Some people smile to your face but secretly compete with you behind your back. And third, talking tricks your brain into thinking you've already done something. Psychologists call it the illusion of progress. When you talk about your goals, your brain gets a little dopamine hit, just like you accomplished something. But you haven't. Talking about a goal and achieving a goal are two different things. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius believed in focusing on action, not words. He didn't waste time explaining what he was going to do. He just did it. So if you want real success, follow this rule. Move in silence. Let them wonder. Let them be surprised. Let them see your success, not hear about it in advance. When you don't share your next move, you stay in control. No one can doubt you, no one can steal from you, and no one can slow you down. And when the results show up, that's when people will start asking you, "How did you do it?" At that point, you won't need to explain, because your actions will speak for themselves. So remember, never share your next move. Just make it happen. And there you have it, the 8 things you should never share with anyone. Not because you're hiding something, but because wisdom is about knowing what to keep private. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone overshare, only to regret it later? Maybe a friend betrayed their trust. Maybe their words were twisted and used against them. Maybe they just realized, too late, that some things are better left unsaid. The Stoics believed that power comes from self-control. The less you reveal, the stronger you become. When you keep your fears to yourself, no one can manipulate you. When you guard your goals, no one can sabotage them. When you stop bragging about your kindness, you let your actions speak for themselves. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That applies to everything in life. Don't talk about your next move, just make it. Don't share your family problems, solve them. Don't let the world know your weaknesses. Strengthen yourself in silence. Now, before you go, I want you to think about this. Which of these 8 things do you need to start keeping to yourself? Maybe it's your financial situation. Maybe it's your personal struggles. Whatever it is, drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single one. And if you got value from this video, make sure you hit that like button. It helps spread this wisdom to more people who need it. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already, because we have more Stoic insights coming your way. Remember, true strength is silent. Stay wise, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.